Iranian American journalist Karmel Melamed, you are in touch with people on the ground in Iran right now. We're hearing death tolls of maybe 400, 500. What are you hearing?
Thanks for having me on, Raj. I'm hearing numbers that are much higher from my sources inside the country. And then also the regime itself. It's been reporting that in Tehran alone, they have 25 different hospitals, and the total capacity in their morgues are for 4,500 bodies. The regime is now reporting, this is coming from the regime, not from my sources, that all their morgues are filled to capacity and bodies are being brought in by the regime in refrigerated trucks put outside of the hospitals. So the 500 to 1,000 number, I think, is way underreported based on what the regime is saying. And that's just Tehran alone. Let's not forget, Iran has 31 provinces, dozens of other cities and towns. So the number of people that have been killed by the regime during these protests, I think, are way higher. And my sources have been telling me that it's a slaughterhouse. There are rivers of blood. That's what my source was saying in Tehran alone. A lot of the regime's forces have been perched on top of buildings and in many cases mowing down people from above. Snipers from inside of buildings have been shooting protesters. It's been very, very unpleasant. A lot of photographs and video from social media of people getting shot at with shotgun pellets. Some photos and videos from inside hospitals of people seriously injured. So it's getting very bad.
Well, Carmel, obviously you can't tell us the names of your contacts. Obviously we wouldn't want to put those people in jeopardy. But just for validity and credence, can you maybe give us a little bit of an insight? How do you know these people? Basically, I think folks want to know, like, how reliable are these reports?
These are folks that I've been in contact for the past 10 years. They've been in constant contact with me over the years, sending me information about what's happening on the ground. They're very reliable. I've been getting daily videos from them up until yesterday. The internet has been shut off, as I'm sure you've been hearing, in all of Iran. The only voice that they have right now is the Starlink connection, and Starlink has also been jammed up in many areas. But my sources are fairly reliable. And then also, I'm looking at the regime's news. They're the ones that are reporting some of this information, in addition to what I'm hearing from my sources. The regime is reporting that mosques are being have been burnt in Tehran and various cities. Islamic shrines have been burnt down. Islamic seminaries have been burnt down. This is what the regime's reporting. The folks on the ground have obvious rage for the regime, but it's also looks like it's coordinated. These are not just angry mobs of people that are in the streets. They are coordinating amongst themselves, and they're targeting the mosques and some of these Islamic centers because the regime and the IRGC thugs are using them as bases of operation, command and control. And the protesters are saying, no, we're not going to allow the regime to use these sites to focus their attacks on us. We're going to firebomb them. We're going to set them ablaze. We're not, this is full on war by the people against the regime.
Well, you said the word. The regime put out a statement basically saying that they're prepared for war. This is escalating. This isn't simmering down by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, you don't know where this is going, but maybe for folks who don't have their finger on the pulse of what's happening as much as you, I guess, where do you see this going? Because it doesn't seem like it's simmering down.
Not at all, Raj. In the last 4 days, the protests have gotten even more intense. There were thousands in the streets. Based on the videos that I've been receiving, the protests have grown into the millions. In Tehran, in Mashhad, Kermanshah, Hamadan, Esfahan, all the major cities, literally millions pouring out on the streets. People are saying, this is it. We're at the end of the rope. We're at the end of the line. And the question that I keep getting from folks in Iran is, President Trump, you've said you're going to come and help us. We're getting slaughtered. Where are you? Where is America? Where is Israel? They promised to help us out. We are out there. We're protesting. We're unarmed. We've got Molotov cocktails. Occasionally they will, capture one or two or beat one or two RGC officers or militia thugs and get away their arms. But the vast majority of people do not have arms, and they're being slaughtered in the streets. They're asking for help, but at the same time, there's a lot of nationalism. There's a lot of rallying behind the Crown Prince. We're hearing slogans of long live the Shah. This is the last battle. Pahlavi, who is the Crown Prince, will return. There's a lot of hope. They're saying, we're not giving up. We've got nothing to lose. They've got a finite number of bullets, but our numbers of people are way higher. And you've got to think, Raj, there are 90 million people in Iran right now. Even if 1 million or 2 million continue the protests, it's game over for the regime. They can't kill everyone. It's only a matter of if the US, Israel, the West is going to step up and stop the slaughter. It's the cost of what's going to be paid at the end of the day. Is it going to be a higher cost of innocents being slaughtered just because they want freedom? Or is the West going to step up and prevent the slaughter of these individuals? And they're not asking for the US to send boots on the ground to intervene. They're saying, protect us, at least stop the onslaught of the killing from these thugs and goons. We'll do the regime change on our own. We're ready for it. I think it's really interesting to take a look at the younger generation. They're saying, we've got nothing to lose. There's no power. The banks are shut down. There's no way to access cash. A lot of the country has gone on national strike. You've had in the last 72 to 48 hours, you've had truckers across the country in the ports saying, we're on national strike. We're not going to unload or offload or deliver food product anywhere in the country because we're standing in solidarity with the people. So there's a real coalescence of the entire population, young and old, male, female. You've even had young kids out in the streets with their parents protesting, wanting freedom. It's a beautiful thing, but it's also a sad situation with the slaughter going on.